Hello, Thor. All right. Thanks, Thor. Right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time now for our next panel. I'll try that again. It's time for our next panel. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in giving a massive welcome from a phenomenal TV series that I love dearly, as do you all from the looks of this. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a massive round of applause and awards as well, from Futurama to Maurice LaMarche, Lauren Tom, Phil Lamar, and Billy West!
Hello. Say hi. Say hi.
Hey there.
Wow.
Morbo is pleased to see you all.
Well, hello everyone. Good afternoon. Welcome to London. Thank you very much for joining us, all four of you. Now, I'm not going to ask any questions because I know full well this lovely lot of people want to ask you quite a few, I'd imagine. So, standard rules apply. Hold your hand up. If you'd like me to bring a microphone around to you, I will. Please be patient because I know there's going to be a few of you that want to ask questions. I'll try and get around to as many as I can in the time possible. So,
It would be better if you did it in alphabetical order.
Right. Let's start with the A's then. Right, who would like to ask the first question of our guest? Here we go. Batman at the front.
Hi there. You guys obviously all play a lot of characters on the show, but are there any characters that some of the other actors play that you would just love to have a go at?
Well, we all love to play Zoidberg. One of the things on the show is that Billy is the official Zoidberg, but every one of us, John DiMaggio, Phil, Dave Herman, myself, we all have to do Zoidberg, right in Billy's face. And so we all wish we had a crack at Zoidberg, I know that.
Yes, everyone likes to do Billy's characters.
Good news, everyone!
I've got bad news.
And we'd all love a crack at Amy. No, that came out wrong, didn't it?
I love to do Leela whenever Katie's not there. Fry.
Nice.
Pretty good.
I like Bender. I auditioned for Bender. I didn't get it though. But he sounds like a punch-drunk fighter or something, you know. I want to shout at the champ. You are the champ.
I think the right people got the right jobs though on the show.
Right, who would like to ask the next question? Stick your hands up, you don't have to keep them down. They're all scared now, look. Right, okay, got a question for the young lady at the front.
How long does it take to do a Futurama show? Well,
How long does it take?
How long does it take? Well, I mean, probably what? About for us to record it or from start to finish the
Both.
entire process?
We record for about 4 hours
Yeah.
to do the voices.
Yeah.
And then it takes them roughly a year to do all of the animation.
All the animation. They're writing the new season now. We just got picked up for season 7. And I know the writers are working very hard. But you've not seen season 6 yet here, I understand. Oh, you're in for a treat.
Oh yes.
We've seen them. You're good. When you get them, you're going to love them. There's some wonderful, wonderful stories. I think season 6, I think the consensus is season 6 is maybe our deepest season ever. But so they're writing them now. We'll record. We usually go in on a Tuesday afternoon and do a 1-hour table reading with a nice audience of about 50 people in the conference room. And then we'll record the show, as Phil says, all day on, say, a Thursday or a Friday, 4 to 6 hours. And we do the scenes, Bill, how many times would you say we each do a scene?
I'm sorry?
How many times would you say we do the scenes? Maybe 5 hero takes? 5 perfect times? We record it like a movie, almost.
Like a radio
We do
play.
them,
Yeah.
David Cohen is our director, and he does a few takes, you know? I mean, he wants to get the best out of you. And just when you think you're ready to, like, get mad because you're being kept after school, he'll get a good read out of you, and they'll put that in, and it's like we need that governor over us, you know, because
Yeah.
it's hard to tell what you're doing. But you know what? You forgot some important piece of business. Is want to thank all these people for bringing the show back.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you,
It's
guys.
the fan reaction that's done it.
The fans have brought it back.
Yeah, it's very rare for a television show to be canceled and come back from the dead. Although zombies are very big, not in network programming.
So all in about 9 months. To answer your question, about 9 months from conception to it actually being finished. 9 months, I would say.
Okay, we have a question from a young man here.
What are your favourite Futurama episodes and why?
Aw.
Again, please, could you clarify the question?
What was your favourite Futurama episodes and why?
Let's go down the line.
Go ahead.
My favorite is how Hermes requisitioned his groove back because it's the one I have the most lines in.
I'd love to say the episode with Seymour the dog, but I get wistful when I start talking about it, and I want to break down. Seymour. That one's beautiful episode. I like the Devil's Hands are Idle Playthings because we had Dan Castellaneta join us. Very exciting. You had to be there.
I like the one where Kif and I get together, Kif and
Oh,
Amy.
Amy. Oh, I'm going to get so flustered now. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my.
And
She's
I,
the best.
I also
Kif.
like,
Kif, have the boy pick up my underwear.
and I also love the one where Fry and I get our heads attached. Wait, no, my head is attached to your body, right? My head was attached to your body. Whatever episode that was.
Your
body
head
switching.
was on my shoulder.
Yeah.
My favorite Futurama episode of the entire run is one that's in the upcoming season you all will see. It's a show, it's called The Late Philip J. Fry.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's the one they submitted for an Emmy this year in the States. The professor invents a forward-only time machine. And Fry, Bender, and the professor are forced to go forward in time to find a solution for Fry to get back in time for Leela's birthday. And it's tragic, it's funny,
And it's sweet.
it's brilliant. It's
Yeah.
a brilliant episode. But of the ones that have already been on, I think my favorite is the one where Kif and Amy get together, which is Amazon Women in the Mood. I think that's my personal favorite. That's where they discover their love for each other.
We also have great writers. Because
Brilliant.
without
The
them,
most brilliant.
we'd be driving a truck full time.
Yeah.
Okay, our next question is from a young man here.
What are your favourite characters to play and why? Like, because of lines and things like that, but who's kind of your favourite?
Well, for me, I play. I play about a dozen regular characters that rotate in and out of the action on the show. If we're just going to go this way, I would have to say Kif is my favorite, though. Kif, to me, he embodies. He's the everyman. He's every one of us who ever had to work for a boss that we know more than the boss, but we got to put up with him. So that long-suffering sigh is on behalf of everybody who's stuck in a job that they really hate and know that they could do better than the guy above them. So that's where comes from. So I love playing Kif, and after that, I think I like Clamps. I like playing. You want the clamps? I'll give you the clamps. Because he's all rage. He's all contained rage. Those are my two favorites.
I basically play any kid that's on the show, anyone that's really young, and then I play Amy, and then I play Amy's mom. And Amy's mom, I love because she's kind of like harsh, and she doesn't care about anything except make money. That's about it.
Are we talking about favorite characters?
Yeah, what's your favorite to do? I guess my favorite is Hermes, and it's probably just because he's been fleshed out the most over time, so I feel like I know him the best.
Do him a little bit, Phil.
What? No. There's no time. We're on a strict schedule. You can't just be doing voices or lift and right willy-nilly.
I can't pick a favorite no matter how hard I try because they become such a part of you. You know, you begin to love them or love-hate them like Zab Brannigan, you know. I mean, just there's something about him that you love, and then it's like this revulsive thing too. But the things he says, she's a beautiful ship, all right. I'm gonna fly her brains out. And Fry is just a delicate, you know, like every man, like Mo was saying. And one time somebody said to him, hey, Fry, I heard beer makes you stupid. And he goes, no, it doesn't. It's over. It's over. And Zoidberg is just, anything goes with him. You know, he wants to live with you if you said, okay. He'll come to dinner without being invited kind of guy. I love that Mooch character. Bring me a sandwich from the dumpster and leave the maggots on it. And the professor is just a bag of bones, you know. He's so old, he farts dust. Good news, everyone. Bad news.
Okay, our next question is in the middle from a young lady.
I wanted to ask how do you put the emotion into the scenes? Do you see the clips? Do you get it from the only the script, or are you directed to put that emotion in, like with the dog Seymour and Fry?
Well, it's all in the writing. You can pretty much tell what emotion you need to have just by seeing what the writers have set up as the story. I mean, I find, and I'm sure you guys probably find this too, when something's well written, you have to do, as an actor, much less work. You know, basically you can just read the lines that they've given you and the emotion comes because of what your fellow actors are saying to you and what you're saying to them, and the scenes build themselves. So it's not so much about like trying to think of, oh, what am I feeling here? They've handed it to us on the pages.
And we don't get to see anything until later on. So when we recorded it first, we recorded wild, which just means with no image, just with the microphones. And then later we go back and add, if they wanted to change a line or if they add like little like sighs or screams or gasps. I mean, I think we have like 300 gasps per episode.
Yeah, I'll echo what Phil has said and what Billy has said. The writing.
How about what I said?
And what you said too.
Thank you.
Of course, Amy, I'm so sorry. I don't want to lose you. Oh my.
You know, the writer is king on our show. Our writers are, you know, all the best from The Simpsons have come over and written on our show. And, you know, we've had 10 years to really get to know the emotional lives of our characters. So we embody them, and the animation that comes later almost fits around them. So yeah, it's the emotion comes very easily, and each character has their own emotional life. The fun thing about what Billy and I get to do is we get to play so many different emotional lives. You know, there's the Zap Kiff dynamic for us to play, and then there's the Amy Kiff, and then there's, you know, for me, Calculon, and everyone else who comes is basically an extra in the Calculon show. You know, so I mean, but you've got all these different emotional lives to play in animation, so it's a really wonderful thing. Bill?
Is anybody actually hearing anybody else here, or are we just bullshitting each other? It's so hard to, it's like we're on the space shuttle with the noise and everything. I'm cranky, I need a nap, I'm 10 hours behind.
I can hear you.
Oh, okay.
I hear you. I hear you.
Can you guys hear okay?
What was the question, Mo?
Perfectly.
Say something funny, see if they laugh. Say something funny, see if they laugh.
Okay. When life gives you lemonade, make urine.
They can hear you.
They can hear
Billy.
you. All right.
They can hear. I heard it.
Right, we have a question here towards the back.
Way back.
Hi, how are you? I was wondering, since you've been on the show so long, do the writers start to take cues from you and when they're scripting?
He was wondering, as you've been doing the show for so long now, do the writers take cues from you when they're scripting?
Sometimes they'll say, if you have an idea, try it, and everybody gets an idea. Not that you're out to top the writers, because that work is sacred, but if they give you a chance, you'll throw stuff in. Some of it they'll keep, and other stuff just goes, tacit. But some of the craziest stuff wound up in there. I can't give you an example right now because I'm old and I forget.
Well, and sometimes there will be things that we do in the room or around the writers or producers. Like I had done a voice just fooling around, and they ended up writing a character, the robot preacher.
Yeah.
Because they had heard me do that voice, and it's like, oh, we thought maybe for this character you could do this. Because usually before we read through a script, we'll meet with David or Matt, and if they have ideas for how they want something to sound, they'll say, oh, we were thinking that this sounded like, that character you did, the preacher character you did. Like, perfect. So there is a sort of back and forth, a give and take in that sense. Have you guys ever had any story ideas? Our writing staff are all like PhDs and masters in computers. They're just a lot smarter than us, so it's hard for us to outthink them.
I think David Cohen has a math club.
Wait a second, you went to Yale. What are you talking about?
That's true.
Yeah, they all went to Harvard.
Okay, we have a question staying right in the back here.
Do you think if Futurama came out before... Do you think if Futurama came out before Simpsons, Futurama would be as popular as Simpsons is now?
It's not. I'm going home. To you guys it is. No, there's no competition at all. It's just that they're separate animals, and
they're really different.
The dynamic is really not the same. Futurama is not family based at all.
Yeah, honestly, I think the answer to that question is no. Because I think The Simpsons being a family show has a broader appeal, but I think that Futurama being a science fiction show has a deeper appeal to a smaller crowd. We all know science fiction shows have the most devoted fan base, but I don't think it would be as broad an appeal as a family show.
I think you're right.
All I know is this: whenever Matt Groening is asked which of the two shows is his favorite, he says, I can't answer that, but I will tell you this. The Simpsons is a cartoon show. Futurama is real.
Oh.
That's Matt Groening's line, not mine. He can get away with saying that.
He said the characters are very real to him, that it's scary.
Yeah. I don't know. It's unknowable.
I'll go along with lightning in a bottle. No, I'll go along with anything Matt says.
Yeah, but The Simpsons was lightning in a bottle. It came along at a time when there was a vacuum in prime time. And there was this new network that came in to fill it, called the Fox Network, and it started as interstitials on the Tracy Ullman Show, and then became its own thing and took on a life of its own. It was the right time for a show like that. Everything else was super wholesome. The next edgiest thing on television was The Cosby Show, and The Simpsons overtook that. So it's all about timing. There's no way to predict it, I don't think. We're just grateful that we have such a devoted audience in you guys, and that we're back, and thank you so much,
Okay, still at the back, and I've got a question here.
All the way back. Do you guys have any favorite quotes from any of the seasons?
Favorite quotes? Yes, mine is, you watched it, you can't unwatch it.
Just say anything.
No, you don't have one.
They're not going to know. There'll be no there's no fact checking here. Or maybe there is.
No, I can't. Are you kidding? No fact checking at a comic book convention? No. Everyone here knows everything that's been said on the show. Can't get it wrong. Do you have a favorite?
What's the matter, genius? You can't. Well, I can remember a couple. The Zap stuff is, to me, eminently, is that the word? Quotable?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So you're the guy that went to college. He said, the way to a girl's bed is through her parents. Sleep with them and you're in.
That's great.
Okay, and we got a question staying right at the back.
I can't see you anymore.
We got to get you a bright orange shirt.
Oh, there you are.
There you
Okay,
are.
Great, thank you.
All right at the back.
If Futurama were made into a live-action movie, who would you choose to play your characters?
Ooh, good question.
Who would I choose, or who do I think would be best?
You choose yourself, probably, right?
Exactly. No, I don't want to put on that kind of weight. No, it wouldn't be me.
Knowing how show business works, I think they'd have Jennifer Aniston as Fry, Jennifer Aniston as Zap Brannigan, Jennifer Aniston as the rest of the cast. She's very popular, you know.
And Brad Pitt as Zoidberg.
Yes, as Zoidberg. Either that or Angelina Jolie.
Ashton Kutcher might make an interesting Fry.
That's right.
Yeah?
That's it.
Ashton Kutcher is Fry.
Yeah, he plays dumb.
Who's got one eye?
I would cast Phil Lamar as Hermes.
Aw.
I would and definitely Lauren Tom as Amy. You guys could play your parts. That's
You
fair.
guys are real actors.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit long in the tooth for Amy. She's like 20.
CGI, baby, CGI. You can do it all.
That's right, baby.
Okay, I'm back down the front now.
Hello.
Okay. Oh, there you are.
Okay.
Yeah.
We have a question. Yeah, no, I'm scary in real life. It's horrible. I have a question here.
A request rather than a question. Billy,
Yes.
can we have a Nixon, please?
Aw.
Oh.
Why, you filthy hippies? Get off the lawn!
I have to explain why Nixon goes,
Please do.
because in 1962, Nixon was running against John F. Kennedy for president of the United States, and I used to watch the debates on television, and Kennedy was perfect. He was the first made-for-TV president. He had that buttered toast hair, game show face and everything, and Nixon just looked like a mess. He was sweating, and his 5 o'clock shadow would come in at 2 p.m., and I said, while he was talking, he was getting hairier and sweatier, and I said, Mom, he's going to turn into a werewolf. And so that's why I go,
Oh, I see.
That's the big story. And I didn't make it up either.
And I'm still down the front. I'm here.
Hi.
Off to the side. We have a friend here.
Hi. I kind of have a double-barreled question. First of all, how did you go about, straight from the beginning when the show first ever started, how did you go about creating these first voices? How does that happen? And secondly, just for Phil, completely off Futurama, don't want to offend anyone, but can you do me a Samurai Jack impression? Samurai Jack voice. Yeah.
Do not worry, we will defeat Aku.
So we're doing it in reverse order. Now, creating the voices?
Okay.
What's that?
Creating the voices.
Creating the voices.
Good question.
Well, I think a lot of us went with our auditions. I mean, when we first went in to read for the show, Matt Groening was there and David X. Cohen was there. And David had actually read for Bender. I think he was the first guy to read for Bender because David talks like a robot anyways. He has a very sort of flat affect when he speaks. And so they decided one thing they knew for sure after David auditioned for Bender was that they didn't want Bender to sound like a robot like David does. So we all took different things that we did, and we just kind of went with that. I know that, I read for Bender, I didn't read for Fry, but the characters I did read for, they kind of stuck with. Kif, though, didn't come along till episode 3, and Matt really worked with me on Kif. He told me that he wanted him to be as officious as Mr. Spock, but if Mr. Spock had to deal with William Shatner instead of Captain Kirk.
That's funny.
So I started out with sort of really, Captain, I don't think the rest of the crew shares your passion for velour. And he said, you know, that doesn't sound lizardy enough. I mean, he's a lizard. Here's his picture. I said, he should have a higher pitched voice. That doesn't seem like it would come out of him. So I kind of went with, oh, sir, it doesn't seem like we share your passion for velour. And he said, that's good. But I want him to sound sarcastic like John Lovitz. So I went, oh, sir, it seems the rest of the crew doesn't share your passion for velour. And that was it. We locked it in. So that was the process, for instance, with Kip. Billy, I know, came in with a billion things, but so
I have a
you guys
couple
want
of
to tell your
things
stories?
to say about that is when you come in, they show you pictures of the characters.
Right.
And they tell you what the character is about. And you have to have some kind of gut feeling about what it is, although sometimes you play against type. If you see this big hulking thing, you could give it like a little voice like, hi, I'm gonna kill you. You know, but in Zoidberg, he was rotund, and I was thinking of Yiddish theater, like guys like Lou Jacoby and George Jessel was a vaudeville comic, and they were marble mouths. And I figured he'd have all those cool meat hanging off his face, so he would have some impairment, so it sounded like this, like he always has something, you know. And the other stuff, Fry, I decided to do what I did sound like when I was 25. I sounded very unassuming and plain vanilla. And the others are more of a cartoony kind of thing. The professor's almost like Wizard of Oz type voices. Yeah. I'm just glad Tom Kenny didn't get there before me and mop the floor with the audition. And you know, it was just very, very strange to get called back and go on another interview and another interview. It's a big process. So.
And when I auditioned for Matt Groening, they showed me a picture of Amy where she was actually a mechanic and a lot tougher. You know, she was very kind of like, argh. And that's really not me naturally. So, and then I kind of like laughed at something Matt said. He goes, "Oh my God, that's a crazy laugh. we have to figure out. We'll just use you and we'll figure it out." And so I think they made her a little bit girlier than based on just my natural, you know, whatever. And also to balance Leela, because Leela's pretty tough in the series.
Well, they changed it. They made Leela tougher and Amy more girly,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Originally, Hermes was not Jamaican and not even named Hermes. He was the Planet Express accountant, and his name was Dexter. But they realized they had too many characters whose names ended in
Bender.
Bender, Dexter, and there was somebody else. But the first 3 or 4 episodes, Hermes sounded like this. He was sort of a nerd, and it just wasn't working, which is a horrible thing to hear when you're an actor on a series that's not done yet. It's like, And then one day Matt Groening came and stopped me in the hall and said, "Can you do a Jamaican accent?" Yes, I can. Don't go ask anyone else. I can do that.
And so then we changed it to the Jamaican accent.
And that sort of spurred something with the writers. They sort of got more of a hook. And then finally, I think maybe 7th episode, David Cohen came up with Sweet Lion of Zion. And then it all sort of like fell together.
Right. Now, sadly, we're out of time for audience questions, but I do believe, Maurice, you have a special request for our audience.
I do. You know, I just wanted to ask. You know, we've all done other characters on other shows, and a show that I did that, you know, without sounding, you know, puffed up. I did a show called Pinky and the Brain. Does anybody here know that show? Well, I wanted to ask a favor of you all. I have a very dear friend. I have a dear friend named Gordon Bresack who wrote about half of the Pinky and the Brains, and today is his 60th birthday. And I don't think anything could give him a bigger thrill than to have 1,000 cartoon fans sing Gordon happy birthday. So could we all sing Pinky and the Brain writer Gordon Bresack happy birthday, please? Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Gordon. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you. Yes.
Hip hip. Hip hip. Hip hip. And one more for hip hip.
When I take over the world, you shall be spared, my friends. Yes!
You guys are great.
Ladies and gentlemen, please give a massive round of applause for our Futurama panel. Maurice LaMarche, Lauren Tom, Phil Lamar, and Billy West!